This episode is brought to you by Ooni Pizza Ovens. Guys, summer is practically here. I don't care where you are in the United States. If you're on the West Coast, it's starting to get hot this week. June is around the corner. I know a lot of my East Coast family have been telling me it's humid out there. Wouldn't you like to be the one that has the pizza oven in the neighborhood? Listen, it can now be you. I don't care if you got a house, a mansion, an apartment, a condo, you can have a pizza oven, and you're going to be the life of the party, and you're going to be the talk of the town. And it's just in time for summer. Guys, Ooni Pizza Ovens makes it possible for you to have your own pizza oven. You can host great parties. Everybody comes over, makes their own pizza. It's phenomenal. They offer portable pizza ovens. You can take it to the park with you. You know, you can do tailgates. It's a lot of fun. And the best part is it's affordable. It's a quality pizza oven that ain't going to break the bank, and it's going to make you the talk of the town and everybody's favorite party to go to. Not to mention, when you're not having a party, a little intimate fun, you want to bring a date over. We got make our own pizza night. It's phenomenal. All you got to do is go to Ooni Pizza Ovens by clicking the link in the description, okay? You can get everything from them. You get the pizza oven, you get the wood chips if you're on the go and you're trying to make the heat. They got everything except for the pizza and eating it for you. So use the link in the description and hook yourself up this summer with an Ooni Pizza Oven that will last all the way till the winter, and then so, and then so, and then so. So it's going to be a fun summer. It's going to be a fun next couple of years with you as the owner of your very own pizza oven. All right, you guys. Once again, use the link in the description to order your pizza oven. There's lots of different sizes, lots of different prices. If you got a deck, a patio, a balcony, you can make it work for you. So, if you want, use the link in the description, or you can go to homeschooled.pod.com, click on sponsors, and click the Ooni Pizza Oven banner. You will be supporting the Homeschool podcast at the same time. It's awesome, guys. Check it out. With that being said,
please take your seats. School is now in session.
Welcome to Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschooled. The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
It's time to document the journey. Hello, everybody. I'm Agostino Zoida. I'm the host of Homeschooled Podcast. Welcome back. I really appreciate you. We know you got a lot of options out there for podcasts, so the fact that you're here is awesome. And I'm fresh back from recording my podcast, from recording my special. If you've been following along, I recorded a special last Saturday. I want to give a big thank you to everybody who came out to the show in Paso Robles to my taping. I feel it went really, really well, and that's briefly what I'm going to talk to you guys about. I'm an honest guy. I've always been honest with you guys. I've never not been honest with you guys. This episode is about documenting the journey of an artist. So I'm not here to tell you all about how wonderful fucking stand-up comedy is and how great I am and how great I did. I'll tell you truthfully, it went great, but I'm also going to tell you the things that I struggled with. I personally thought to myself that towards the end, I lost the momentum of the crowd a little bit. But then again, my last 3 bits, which is about approximately 15 to 20 minutes, are stories. So I don't feel that at any point I lost the crowd, but I did, the laughter slowed down a little bit. But then again, that's what you get when you tell stories. At no point do I think I lost the audience's attention. Everybody was listening. Everybody was hooked and synced in. It's just that stories don't get as many laughs per minute as, a bit or quick jokes do. And so that would be my only thing, really, is that I felt a little like I lost momentum towards the last 15, 20 minutes of my set. 15, we'll say. And, listen, guys, the footage reads, I saw some of the footage already. It looks great. The footage is, I did 58 minutes. It's a 58-minute special. So once you include the little intro video that we did, it's going to be over an hour. And so that's what I did. And so the last 15 minutes, I thought I lost momentum a little bit. But then again, it was stories. So overall, I'm very happy with the way that it went. And I will also tell you about some other things that I'm a little inside my head about is, listen, guys, I've done tapings before. I recorded an album once, no cameras, just audio. I do have an album out. That was like in 2014. I recorded an album, and it went great. I think I crushed that performance. You know, it's a completely different hour that I'm doing now. I'm a completely different comic, a completely different person now. But that's not the point. The point is, at the time, I felt that I crushed it. If you go back and listen to the album, I think that you hear the audience reacts really, really well. But, you know, you should always be your worst critic, and you should always be improving. So if I go back and listen to my own material now, it is me, you know, always criticizing myself like, the me now can make that material better. Now, with that being said, there's always a weird feeling about doing a taping. And it's like, it never feels like the usual performance that it's supposed to feel like. Like, you know, when I go on the road and I have really good sets, it feels great. You're in the moment. It feels great to kill, you know, being one-on-one with the people, and you do your material every now and then. You break the fourth wall if you feel comfortable to address something in the room, which I did during this last taping a little bit. But there's something about whenever you do a taping of some kind, it never feels normal. And I don't know if it comes from within. It probably comes from within, because that's really the only difference. I mean, it's an ongoing thing. If you talk to any comic, they'll tell you, like, you know, whenever you're trying to get something on video, it won't go the way you want. Like, you'll crush and kill when the cameras aren't on. But if you know the cameras are on, it's like you'll never get the video. So we don't know if it's a comedy gods thing, if it's just a coincidence, or is it really within you? And it's got to have a lot to do with both, I think. It's got to come from, a lot of it's got to come from within you. And I remember the first time I ever did a television taping. I did a show called Stand Up and Deliver, and at the time it aired on Nuvo TV, which was like a Spanish channel. Not that it was in Spanish-speaking language, it was in English, but it was catered to a Latin audience. I think that Jennifer Lopez owned it at one point, or something like that. And they were introducing all these stand-up specials. They did 4 seasons. I was on 2 of the seasons, you know, just a stand-up performance. A special, like a short special. They had these specials. So I did, the first one I ever did, I remember being so nervous. My first TV taping, and guys, I must have been, I couldn't tell you. I must have been 23 years old, maybe. Had to have been like 23, something like that, maybe 24. And I was so nervous and so scared. And you know what? That went really well too. That taping went really well too. They did. They asked me back for a second season, so it went good. But it never feels like. I'm not saying I did bad. I'm saying something about a taping doesn't feel like stand-up comedy. You know, when you go out to a comedy club and you do a set and you kill it, or you're going on the road or something, you're just, you know, really in the moment, and you're being an artist and you're doing what you love. And it's just like the comedy feel, you know, on stage, a light, a microphone, an audience, and you're grinding it out. You're doing the jokes. You're in the moment, and, you know, it just feels like comedy. There's something about a taping that just feels unnatural. I guess that's the best word I could describe. It feels unnatural, like it was forced. Everybody knows you're taping. You know what I mean? You know, when you watch stuff on TV, it'll always seem darker, like we were in a dark theater. You know, there's a nice little spotlight and stuff. But in the actual taping room, there's a lot of lights. You know, maybe it seems normal to you if you're sitting in the audience, but I don't think so. I've sat in the audience of tapings before. It's lighter than the room is supposed to be for comedy. It doesn't feel like a comedy club. I've done a taping in a comedy club that I performed at 100 times, and during that taping, it didn't feel the same. So much lights, you know, like this. Everything's too lit. And then later on, they perfect it, and it looks great on camera. But, you know, it just doesn't feel right. But But anyway, I always have great performances. Those, a couple TV tapings I did, and then my album recording, and then this special that we just taped. I think the performance went good. And I'll tell you guys what I was really worried about. I was worried about a couple things. Number one, I was worried about getting all the material out that I wanted to do and not forgetting any of it. Because a big point of me of getting this taping, of doing this special, is that I wanted to not do a lot of this material anymore. I wanted to retire some of this material. So I wanted to get it out there recorded for, the album, for the special. It'll always be out in the universe. You could always go watch it. So I want to retire it. It's out there. You can watch it. And I want to keep writing new things. Now, there's some things that I didn't do in the special because I want to develop them more, and I needed to keep things in my act. I still got to go on the road, So I got like an hour and a half worth of material, and I only used about an hour of it. A couple minutes less. So I have things that I can work with. So there's stuff that's not in the taping at all. There's stuff that is in the taping, but if you ever come see me live, I'm going to be doing a different version of it. Like there's things I withheld from the taping, and then there's things I'll continue to do that I still want to build on, but it made the taping anyway. So the important thing to me was the things that I wanted to get to retire, that I didn't forget any of it. Another important thing was the order. I was so like, this is the order it has to go. In order for me to get out all of this material and not forget any of it, it also had to be in the right order. Because let's say I forgot something, but I remembered it later and I can always come back to it, which sure I could have done, but it wouldn't have necessarily fit right there. And I did write the order just so, the way I wanted it to flow. So I would have been really disappointed in forgetting anything or it being out of order that I worked on. And then the last thing that I was really, really worried about, with all that being said, I was really worried that I wouldn't be in the moment. I was really worried about the taping, that I was going to feel like I was reading a script. I would feel restrained and scripted, like, just keeping to my set. Because I was so focused on not forgetting anything and so focused on keeping the order that I wasn't going to be loose and in the moment and interacting with the audience. So for the taping, they gave tons of warning that we were going to be taping. If you bought a ticket, it told you there's a taping, you might appear on camera. If you walked into the building, there were signs that said beyond this point, there's filming, you may appear on camera. Before they brought me up, they were doing little speeches. Hey, there's cameras on, there's microphones on. Don't talk, don't interrupt, don't shout things out, and laugh loud so the microphones pick it up. Like, these are the type of things they tell them, and I didn't want it to feel unnatural. I wanted it to feel organic, like a stand-up comedy show. The nitty-gritty comedy is. This is a part of the reason why I didn't film it at a theater. I didn't, do it at a comedy club. I filmed it at a hall that I'm used to performing in a city where I know that people kind of have somewhat the same views of me. Maybe not 100%, but at least I know that they're not easily offended by stuff that I talk about. And that's why I did it there. But I also wanted to show people the nitty-gritty of comedy. The rooms that we do in these towns that in the middle of nowhere. And the people that we talk to, So that's what I wanted to show. And that's what we did show. And so I wanted it to feel like a real comedy show, but not necessarily in a comedy club, but just like comics going through the nitty-gritty, doing these unique places and having fun with it. And I wanted to seem loose. I didn't want to seem so confined to my script that I was telling myself, okay, don't forget anything. Remember the order, but also don't be so trapped in that and be more in the moment. And when I say in the moment, this is something I've more recently been reminding myself to do, because I am one of those guys. I'm not a giant crowd work comic. I don't like when people talk to me on stage. I'm a writer. I thrive on my writing, and I don't like to be interrupted. But lately, I've been reminding myself that I got to be in the moment, because there's things that are happening in the room, and if you don't address it, you also look amateur. You have to be able to shift to address something quick, make a laugh without bringing too much attention to it, and then come right back to your set. That's the other thing. You can totally throw off your order. You have your order, you're remembering everything, then you go to the crowd, then you come back, you're like, fuck, where was I? I've done that 1,000 times too. But this is what comes from getting on stage nonstop. This is what comes from me having a fuck ton of stage time, which I'm thankful for since, early 2021, doing an hour on the road, 45 minutes, 60, half hour, 20-minute, 15-minute get sets. Like, I'm blessed to have those opportunities because I got my order so down that and as a headliner, you start to really realize the importance of being in the moment. Because as I've said on here the past several months, like, you can be a great comic and you can have a great 60 minutes, but that doesn't necessarily make you a headliner. Like, having a good 60-minute set doesn't make you a headliner. It's about a performance. You'll see a difference, and you'll feel a difference when you hit it. You'll realize that I just shifted to a headliner, not because I have the material, but because I'm in the moment, and I'm not necessarily here on stage to project my writings to these people. You are, but you're also there to do it specifically for them, for this group of people. And, I found that when I've done weekends or even 4 days at a comedy club and my set's the same, but it's not, always different depending on the crowd. I am in the moment if something happens in the room, or I'm watching people's face. I'm not looking for it, but it pops in your face. And if you don't address it, you're still going to pause. If you don't address it, you're still going to go to yourself and you're going to go, should I say something? No, I better not. Better not keep to my script. You're still going to pause and you're still going to be in your head and you're still not going to be in the moment. So you might as well fucking say it. One of the big rules that I learned in comedy, Greg Wilson used to teach a class called the Master Class at the comedy club where I used to work, and I was always there. I probably took that class more than anybody just because I worked at the comedy club. I have to get there early and let them in and clean the bathrooms and set up for the whole night and everything while they were teaching the class. I heard him give all the different versions of that class, every different segment of it, all the courses, and there's certain things in that class that really stood out to me that I always remembered. And one of them was, you got to green light shit. You got to just green light it. And what that means is, don't hold back. If you see something, say it. Because if you don't say it, you thought to yourself, I just caught something. And then you think to yourself, should I say it? And then you think to yourself, don't say it. All that, you probably wasted like 3 seconds. And now you're just sitting there not in the moment. Green light it. If something happens, just say it. If you saw something in the room, say it. It happened to me during my taping. As much as like people were told don't talk and stuff like that, and don't interrupt and stuff like that. Like, I saw something happen in the crowd, and I had to address it. You gotta address the elephant in the room. You gotta green light it. Now, I'm not saying every time you green light it, it's going to be a success, but I'm telling you, like, just go for it, because you're going to waste time either way, and at least you'll be in the moment. And it's not always going to be brilliance. But here's the second saying that I also got from his class, from Greg Wilson's class. Besides green light it, here's another good one. You don't have to hit the target, you just have to hit the tree. So I'm not asking for brilliance from you, but if you address something, just hit the target. Just hit the tree. You don't have to hit the target, just hit the tree. You said something. It shows you're in the moment. So that's what I really was afraid wouldn't happen in my taping, because I was going to be so restricted with my script. And the taping went well, and I felt everything that I asked for happened. I didn't forget anything. The order was exact, and I was in the moment, and I addressed things in the room. So that's one of the important things I want to tell you. The other important thing, to circle back, is so I have 3 important things to tell you. Here's number 2. We're circling back a little bit to, bear with me here a moment. I'm just trying to remember all my thoughts. Yeah, so about how things feel so different when you're taping. Doesn't feel like comedy. Doesn't feel like the nitty-gritty comedy of a dark nightclub, type of thing. So it just feels always like artificial whenever you're taping. I think it has a lot to do with the lights and what people were told before the taping started, and so I'll tell you, I was so nervous for my first taping that another comic, I won't say who, told me, this guy, like, I've had a love-hate relationship with this guy, which is why I don't want to say his name. This guy has said a billion things that I disagreed with and I thought were just off the wall, asinine, and then he's said a couple of things to me that always stuck with me that I was like, that's true. A veteran, a guy who's been doing it a lot longer than me. So, but I took certain things to heart that he said, and one of the things that he said, I was so nervous, and he happened to be doing the taping the same night that I was. And I was all worried, and I was telling him how worried I was. Oh, I'm nervous. It's my first TV taping. You know what I mean? He says to me, he would have really random different ways of saying things. He would never just say advice. He would just hide it somehow. So he says to me, he goes, "What's the Super Bowl?" Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, "What's the Super Bowl?" I go, I don't even know how to answer that question. You don't know what the Super Bowl is? He goes, "What is the Super Bowl?" I says, he goes, "Pretend I don't know what it is. What is it? Describe it to me." I said, I don't know. It's the fucking biggest, most important game in football in the NFL. And he says to me, "No, it's not. It's just another game." And it took me a second, and then I realized what he was saying is, just because you're doing a taping doesn't mean that it's the fucking Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean it's the most important thing in life, that it's any different than any other show that you've done. You still have to go up there and do you. You still have to go there and do your best. And the talent that you have, and the practice that you did, and the bullshit shows that you put yourself through, torture, bar shows, pool halls, bowling alleys, open mics, drunks. You put yourself through that torture to become the best, and that's who you are. And then so being yourself, being talented, everything you've learned, everything you put yourself through, night after night after night, you go up there and you're always learning, going out there and you're always putting out your best work, and you're trying to do your best. Now, that shouldn't change because it's a taping. It's nothing special. It's special, yeah, sure, we're doing a special, but it's nothing different. You should be giving the performance that you're always giving. So, that was one thing I did learn from him, and I thought he was right. Who knows if he was right? Maybe him and I both are wrong, but at the time, he really helped me not to be nervous anymore, and I didn't think of it as a taping, which is hard to do because, like I said, it feels different tapings. It doesn't feel like every other night of you on stage doing your thing. It feels like the lights are bright and people are aware it's a taping, and you can easily lose track of the moment. I didn't want that. I wanted to give people an inside look of the nitty-gritty working comedian doing these rooms, and I got the whole hour out that I wanted to get out. Third thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is another thing that I guess I'm not happy with is the same thing, the room. Visually, would I have liked to have done it at a big theater or something like that? Sure, I still would. A part of me still wants to do what I always wanted to do, of not just releasing a special, but more of like a special that shows the journey. Like, 5 minutes of my special starts at an open mic, and then the next one is a bar show, and then the next one is this, next one that, leading up to a theater. So the only thing that bothers me about this taping that I just did is that it's a great room, and it was what I wanted to show. But for the whole hour, it's the same room that's not a comedy club or theater. Made me feel a little self-conscious about myself. Like, sure, I wish I was further ahead as a comedian. I wish I was further ahead in my career where I could pack out a little small theater. But I mean, I'm perfectly happy with the way that the special looks. I saw all the different angles. I saw some footage already. The material was great. The performance was great. The audience reaction was really good. Definitely a fucking phenomenal fire album. But in terms of like the special, I was happy with the crew, all the work that they did. Everything looks beautiful. It's just like the actual room that it was for where I am in my career 13 years in. I would hope that I could have had the ability to film in a theater also, maybe to do half and half or to show several locations, but which I may still do. You never know. We'll see. And I know guys that aren't hugely famous comedians, like if they're gonna do a special, they could still fill up a small theater in their hometown. Everybody they ever knew ever comes out, watch the taping. I couldn't necessarily do that because my hometown's LA, which is one of the biggest fucking cities for comedy, especially. I'm here all the time and nobody ever comes to my show. To tell you the truth, I always prefer that people I know don't come to my shows, especially in LA. We're only doing like 10, 15 minutes. You know what I mean? You got to sit there and deal with a woke crowd. I'm going to be doing new material. So, but I mean, I would love to be in like my hometown. I did it once for my first album recording, 2014, and I did it at a comedy club. But there were no cameras. But it was great. Like half the audience was friends and family, and the other half was just patrons. So it went great. But like this time, it was the only person I knew there was my wife, my sister, and her husband. And then there were a couple people from that town that have seen me before that are coming back to support. But that's about it. It was all like just fans, and then my wife, sister, and brother-in-law. So that was really great. It went great. So I guess it's great that people didn't know me and I killed it, because it's not like people had to laugh. But part of me wants it to be like a little theater or something like that. And you never know. Maybe I'll still do something like that. Maybe we'll edit together with this. But so far, it's just gonna be this whole hour is in this one setting, and it looks beautiful. So I'm pretty happy with it. But anyway, I'm just trying to say that. I guess I'm just trying to say that a part of me wishes I was further ahead in my career, which of course you're always going to do that. But like I said in the beginning of this podcast, I'm always honest with you guys. I'm telling you my doubts. I'm telling you what went great, what went bad. I'm telling you my doubts and my worst fears and what I accomplished and what I didn't accomplish and what I liked and what bothered me. So I'm just being always forthcoming with you guys because this podcast has always been about documenting the journey of the artist. It's always been about not someone who fucking made it and let's hear him fucking bullshit about shit. Let's hear someone who's working at trying to make something of themselves and hear the fails and this successions. Is that a word? Successions? I don't know. But that should definitely be the name of this podcast. Anyway, you guys, and that's it. So like I said in the beginning, if you were at the Paso Robles show, thank you so much. Thank you so much to my hard work of my wife and my sister and my brother-in-law for all the support and coming out. Thank you, of course, to the hard work of the entire staff of the California Coast Brewing Company where we filmed it. Setting up lights, screwing in brand new spotlights to the freaking ceiling that are now permanently there. Just going all out to get this done. And of course, a huge special thanks to Kevin Lyons, who directed it, Daniel DeSangre, another production guy from THM Productions, and all of the guys at THM Productions who helped out Chuck, Anton, whether it be, hands-on help, and a lot of them still probably will do hands-on help in post, and, giving us the equipment that we needed and all that stuff. So I'm excited for you guys to see this. And besides that, I want you guys to see me live. Here's what I got for you. This weekend, it's Memorial Weekend, Friday, May 27th, I'm coming to Salt Lake City, Utah for one night only, Friday. The show's at 7:30. You can get tickets right now. There's still some tickets left. You get tickets at AugostinoComedian.com or HomeschoolPod.com. Click on tour. The following day, May 28th, Saturday, I am going to be in St. George, Utah. So Salt Lake City on Friday, St. George, Utah on Saturday, and that's it. And then I come home for a couple of days, and then I leave right away again to Las Vegas from June 6th through 12th. I'll be in Vegas at the Stratosphere the entire week. And then after that, I take a little breather until the end of June. I'm going back to Folsom, California in the Sacramento County And that's what I got for you guys right now. All tickets are available at homeschooledpod.com. Listen, guys, I'm not a huge famous comic to where I'm doing every fucking city or I'm doing it for the whole weekend at your local comedy club. I'm a type of motherfucker that's, they call me Captain 60-seater, right? We take a 60-seater, we'll fill it up with anywhere between 30 to 60 people, and I'm there for one night only. So if you want to see some fucking rock solid, rock your world comedy show, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to always give you my best. And I'm usually only there for one night only. So Salt Lake City, St. George, Utah, Las Vegas, Folsom, California. One night only. That's what we're talking about here. Homesschooledpod.com. Click on tour. Or AugostinoComedian.com. Click on tour. Don't forget about our sponsor this episode is Ooni Pizza Ovens. It's legit. It's awesome. Different sizes for different houses, for different lifestyles, for different budgets. And it's legit. Use the link in the description or go to homeschoolpod.com and click on sponsors. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the Homeschool Podcast where we document the journey. I'm Agostino Zoida. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget that only love can save the world. Peace. Homeschool Podcast. Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
No, okay.
I don't want to do that at all.